All right, Algebra 1, we are talking about elimination. This is another method of solving systems of equations. So far we've done graphing only, and now we're doing elimination. Okay, so the basic idea of elimination is that what you're going to do is get rid of one of the variables. Okay. Get rid of one variable to find the other. And the way we're going to do that is by combining the equations together, okay? And that'll make more sense once we do a couple examples here. But we've got some steps here, and I'm going to teach it a different way from what they have on here. So you can go ahead and cross this out, and we're going to write our own little notes here under the word examples. Okay, so let's just say this is the steps to elimination. Okay. All right, so step 1. Line them up. Line up X's and Y's. Okay? Make sure the X's and the Y's are above each other. So, for example, X plus 3Y equals 7. And then we have X plus 4Y equals 12. So everything is lined up, the X's, the Y's, and the constants, and even the equal sign. So they're all lined up that way. All right? So the next step, once we have those lined up, we are going to make sure one of the variables are opposites. Okay? So what that means is, what I'm going to have to do on our example up here is change the sign of the x's. Okay? So up here, what I would do is change this to a negative, and that means I have to change these signs as well. Okay? So if I change those signs, it's going to be negative x, negative 4y, and negative 12. Okay? So once I've done that and I have them opposite, now we can go ahead and add the equations. Okay, so in our case, I've got x plus 3y equals 7, negative x minus 4y equals negative 12, and I'm going to add the two equations together. So when that happens, these cancel. 3y minus 4y is negative 1y. And then 7 plus negative 12 is negative 5. Okay? And so, step 4, solve for that remaining variable. Okay, so in this case, all I have is the negative 1y equals negative 5, so now I solve. So divide by negative 1, I get y equals 5. Okay. And so I have the y value, now I need to find the x value. So to find the x value, I plug the variable that I found, so plug the variable back in to find the other variable. Okay, so in this particular case, my y equals 5. I'm going to plug that in to one of those top equations, one of the originals. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to choose that bottom one, so it's x plus 4y. But I'm going to replace y with what we just found, which is 5. So x plus 4 times 5 is 20 equals 12. And then I subtract 20 to solve for x. So x equals -8. And so my last step is write the solution, okay, which is a point, x comma y. Okay, so in our case, I have the x value is -8, the y value is 5. Okay, so those are the steps. Line them up, make sure they're lined up, make sure one of them is opposite. If not, you're going to have to change signs or do something else that we'll talk about tomorrow or the next day. Add the equations together to eliminate, solve for the remaining variable, plug it back in to find the other, and we're done. Okay? There's really 4 steps because a couple of those are in the same thing. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of these. So in this case, these two are almost the same. All I have to do is switch one of the signs. So I'm going to make this negative, change this to a positive, change this to a negative. And now I can add them together. So the x's cancel, x minus x. 4 plus 1 is 5y. And then 13 plus -3, or 13 minus 3 is 10. So I divide by 5, get y equals 2. Now, plug it back in to one of those, and I get x plus 4 times 2 equals 13. So x plus 8 equals 13. Subtract 8, I get x equals 5. So my final answer, 5, 2. Just like we did on graphing. That's what is going to make both equations true. Okay? So let's do a couple more here and then we'll go to the back side. So in this case, again, look, these two are almost ready to be opposite, but I got to change the sign. If I change that sign, I got to change every sign in that equation. Now we can go ahead and put them together. So 3 minus 3, done. -10 plus 9 is -1y. 14 minus 15 is -1. Divide by -1, I get y equals 1. So, plug that back in. I'm going to plug it into the one that I didn't mess with. So that's 3x minus 10 times 1 equals 14. And so, 3x minus 10 equals 14. Add 10 to both sides. I get 3x equals 24. And then I divide by 3. X equals 8. So, xy is 8, 1. Final answer. Okay? And so, last one on this page, and then we'll switch it over. So, in this case, those are not opposites, or not the same number. These are almost opposite. So I'm just going to change this plus to a minus, change this minus to a plus, change this to a negative. So now, when I combine them, 4 plus 2 is 6x. These cancel like I wanted, equals 6 minus 18 is -12. And when I divide by 6, I get x equals -2. And so once again, I'm going to plug it back in And I get 4 times negative 2 plus 2y equals 6. So that's negative 8 plus 2y equals 6. Add 8 to both sides to get the y by itself. That's 2y equals 14. And then I divide by 2. Y equals 7. So my final answer, negative 2, 7. Okay? So again, make sure they're lined up. Make sure they are opposites. So let's go ahead and go to the back side here and do a couple of those examples. And these are kind of nice here, these first few examples, because they're already opposites. Okay? So we can go ahead and add those together. 4 minus 4, those cancel. Add the others. 9 plus 7 is 16y. 5 plus 11 is also 16, so divide by 16, get y equals 1. Plug it back in. I get 4x plus 9 times 1 equals 5. And so 4x plus 9 equals 5. Subtract 9. I get 4x equals negative 4. Divide by 4. Get x equals negative 1. So negative 1, 1. Final answer. So again, look at what we have here. They're lined up. These are already opposite, so I can go ahead and combine these together. Okay? So these cancel. 10 minus 2 is 8x equals 18 plus 6 is 24. Divide by 8, I get x equals 3. Plug it back in, and I get 10 times 3 minus 3y equals 18. I get 30 minus 3y equals 18. Subtract 30 to both sides. Get negative 3y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 3. Negative divided by negative is positive 4. So 3, 4 is my answer. All right. So let's do one more here. Maybe two more. We'll see. Let's do 2 more. So one, I want to make sure they're lined up. Okay. So right now I have y over here, x and y over here. Okay, so I need to go ahead and line these up. So I'm going to get x on the same side as the y. So when I rewrite that, it's going to be negative 2x plus 4y equals negative 8. And then this one basically stays the same. So I'm just going to rewrite it real quick. And now we've got these two to work with. Okay. So these two are already opposite, so I can go ahead and combine those together. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3x. Those cancel. That's 12. Negative 8 plus 20. Divide by 3, I get x equals 4. Plug that back in. Again, it doesn't really matter which one you plug into. 5 times 4 minus 4y equals 20. So 5 times 4 is 20, minus 4y equals 20. Subtract 20 to both sides. Get negative 4y equals 0. Well, 0 divided by anything is 0, so y equals 0. So my final answer is 4, 0. Excuse me. And so last one, this is kind of a special case, just like we had on graphing. So in this case, I'm going to change the signs so those cancel out, but I got to change all the signs. So when I combine these cancel and these cancel, making this side 0 equals negative 10 plus 13 is 3. Well, 0 does not equal 3, so that'd be no solution. Okay. So just something to keep in mind, if we ended up with 0 equals 0, that would be infinity. Okay. So Something to keep in mind there. All right, so go ahead and try out these two problems, numbers 7 and 8, and then we'll talk about those in class when we see each other, and we'll go on from there. Peace.